Welcome back to the post-game analysis for tonight's match number 2, SANDBOX versus Hanwha, and SANDBOX picked up a victory for game number 1. Leona was picked today. As Cat and Dudu plays for Hanwha Esports, they prefer very aggressive lane champions. And also as they locked in Bolivar, they were able to open fights in any possible lane. And SANDBOX, they had a very difficult comp to pull off, supporting the AD carry champion a lot and doing 1-3-1 macro all throughout the game. But at the same time, SANDBOX successfully pulled it off. It seems like both teams are not having their best condition. So it's really important to utilize their strengths, but at the same time, it's really to kind of avoid the showing the weakness of your comp. And SANDBOX was actually really good at avoiding the Hanwha Life's teamfight opening attempts. SANDBOX kept distancing away from Leona's potential initiation, and Hanwha Life, there was no way for them to find any opening for a teamfight. But first, let's check out the mistake coming out from SANDBOX players. So LeBlanc shoving the wave, forcing Mordekaiser to stay in the bottom lane, and then they rotated to the mid lane, looking for a setup for a pick. However, Leona is not an easy champ to chunk down, and it was Karma on the side of SANDBOX, which means that they don't have enough damage to just melt down one opponent. Because Leona was standing behind the wall. Well, Karma ended up dying there. Well, Viper also managed to pick up a kill as a turn of events, but well, it was an unnecessary attempt. So it's really important for the SANDBOX players to kind of know the power spike of themselves. And I believe that this can be a huge lesson for SANDBOX players, because they now learn that sometimes they don't have the power spike they wanted to find, so they have to hold until they can find the meaningful targets. And we had a lot of fights around the mid lane. And we had a very interesting fight over here. What Aphelios! So Mordekaiser actually TP'd onto a ward in behind the mid lane. But, I mean, Roots just single-handedly zoned out all the remaining Hanwha Life players. So he just landed an auto, and then with the Luna's Hurricane, 3 members of Hanwha Life players, they got rooted by Aphelios. So they were so powerless up against this champion Aphelios. At first, before TP, he could just zone out Leona by himself, and then he landed another turret and he zoned out 3 or 4 players on the Hanwha Life Esports, and there was no one to tank the damage coming out from Aphelios on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. Aphelios does a lot of damage and does a lot of poke in the later phase of the game, and it still survived after 8 nerfs in a row. So Roots was really good at utilizing this champion and its utilities to force the positioning from the opponent players. Overall, the game was really close, but SANDBOX was the victor to grab the W in the end. It's time to check the player of the game. It's Root and Aphelios. I mean, we had a Blasted game, and Aphelios was the core champion that kind of enabled to have this much of an active game. So one turret did 100 of years, and then the next turret also did another 100 years. So Root was really on point, utilizing and also making the combos on the weapons and abilities. Aphelios is really good at doing burst damage, but at the same time with the turret, well, Aphelios can easily just outrange the opponent's AD carry. So if you are able to actually hit the opponent earlier than the opponent AD carry, well, it's already a one-team fight. At the same time, they picked Karma for Summit, trusting that Root will carry the late game. Root picked up 10 votes out of 12. A very promising performance coming out Root in this game. Fingers become a fist, and I guess Root was the most important finger or the weapon of the fist in this game. And let's move on to game number 2.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the caster desk for game number 2 between SANDBOX and Hanwha Live. Thank you so much, as usual, G-Sun, for the translation of the analyst desk. And let's see whether SANDBOX can make it a 2-0 for the first time in the summer split of 2020 LCK. It would be a very exciting time. Also, understandable because of this gentleman right here. He doesn't lose when it comes to matches in the LCK. He has never done it before, Ellis. Literally never before. 100% win rate for match score.
Well, we'll see if it keeps up here today, as only need one more game if it's a win.
Yeah,
in order to do it. Not a loss, but a win.
And they can go straight out and they can teach Yamato more about beautiful Korean food for dinner.
If you are curious, I am getting word of a quick fact.
Oh, what's that?
100% of teams that have won in the LCK in spring and summer
Whoa, this is
have
juicy.
Killed the enemy's nexus.
Whoa, that has happened.
Yeah, so
we haven't had any surrenders yet.
you know, I mean.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing who it's going to be. Is Tom Kench the first ban? Gotta respect Gorilla. And Trundle going to be taken away on Hanwha's side. The only AD carry to be taken off is, so far, the Kalista. As we really have freed up a lot of the champion pool as far as the bottom lane. Varus is standing out. And it is something that Viper himself has been very successful on in the past, the lethality Varus. I feel like it is one of his bread and butter choices, but Graves is going to be banned.
Yeah. Graves taken away. And this means Ezreal and Karma are both still open. And okay,
no, Karma's banned. Volibear is...
Or Ezreal and Aphelios.
Yes, Ezreal and Aphelios is certainly available. We'll see where SANDBOX actually want to go with this.
Well, the Volibear is very interesting. If it can only go in the jungle, it's very surprising that they would just blind pick it. This is another one of those things that I feel like LCK will probably never get punished for, much like Set.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it's going to just keep going down this route. Now, SANDBOX opening R1 and R2 potentially Olaf, Twisted Fate. No, they're going to go Olaf, Orianna.
Well, I mean, it is a guaranteed ball carry. Don't mind it. Pop that Ragnarok and you can take that orb wherever you would like. We'll see what the response is here from Hanwha Live. I think that Viper going back to the Ezreal is totally fine.
Yeah. Corki Ezreal would actually be an okay B2B3 here, I suppose. Yeah, Corki Ezreal would be very good.
I don't mind taking away the LeBlanc as well. I mean, Lava is a good LeBlanc player. And I guess, you know, Fate was already going to be playing the Orianna, but just taking the other side of the matchup. And who won the last game?
Well,
the LeBlanc did. So theoretically,
okay,
take a bit of the donkey frame of thought. What? Another Leona comes in.
So SANDBOX, I mean, at this point, when there's Leona, Volibear, even though there's an Ezreal, I suppose you can just pick Aphelios and be happy about it. I mean, alternatively here, you can also take Varus.
Yeah, you can take Varus if you want to.
And that would be fine as well. I really don't understand what Hanwha Life are doing here. Thresh is being selected.
I actually think Thresh is totally fine too, because then you get one of Ashe, Varus, or Aphelios, and you're totally happy with whichever option.
They can't ban away every single one. There's definitely many options that are remaining.
Whereas Thresh is actually very important if you're going to play that sort of hyper carry, because of the lantern and the amount of utility that you do get if you do lack mobility, like the 3 champions that we mentioned. Maybe Ashe a little bit less because she can kite.
There's the Aphelios ban away by Hanwha life. And we'll see if Varus ends up biting the dust as well.
You would expect so. Plenty of other options though, and it looks to me like SANDBOX have a different idea in mind.
Azir. I feel like both of these mid laners are missing the point, because Corki with Ezreal would just be a lot better than either 2 of those.
Yep. Also
Against
spikes
SANDBOX
at the same time.
Yeah, so it's very confusing. Obviously, Azir is good. If you don't give the opponent credit to play Corki, then Azir is definitely a champion. Okay, and so Aphelios and Varus. And it looks like asking Root what he wants to play.
Ashe, Draven. Oh, Senna.
Senna's strange.
Interesting. I like, to be honest, I like it with Olaf. I think that you always need some sort of utility or healing, but Senna Thresh is a very interesting one. It's like she wants to go back into the realm. Is okay. The Canadian dollar jumping on the fiddlesticks.
This matchup.
Is this in mid lane?
Oh, it's Middlesticks.
We haven't seen Middlesticks in the LCK before. We've seen it a lot over in the LPL, but not so far.
This is interesting because Summit has to. Well, it could even be top Fiddlesticks.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Because Volibear against Orianna, I'm not going to give Korea credit. Never mind. So, all right. So we're not going to talk about the runes and stuff you would have to go down in order to make the lane actually like manageable and get Volibear in mid. So the interesting thing is Summit had to choose a champion into either Wukong or Volibear, and he elected for Renekton, which against the Wukong, we'll see how this matchup ends up playing out. It's another champion that allows Orianna to be the sole magic damage, but Middlesticks is here, and this is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be a strange situation. We did see farming Senna recently, because of course with her buff, she does get a few more orbs if you farm.
Yeah, the very scary thing here for SANDBOX is I don't think they have the damage to bring down Fiddle once he gets to 3 items.
They don't have burst damage, definitely.
Right, that's the problem. So if he gets some pretty long sucks off inside of a fight and heals constantly, it's just going to be so problematic for the SANDBOX team composition to really do something with. So a lot of pressure on the bot lane and mid lane to guarantee Olaf to add the heat and pressure, but he's against Volibear, who is of the same family tree and can basically do the same thing.
I do think that as far as the top duo is concerned, the early game should be 100% SANDBOX favored. So we'll see whether it is going to be possible for them to start a bit of a snowball here, or whether Lava will just reap all of the rewards on this Middlesticks, which I'm very excited about seeing. Our second Fiddlesticks for the LCK. Last time it was Canyon playing it in the jungle.
Goku.
Hey, it is. Well, it's actually the Monkey King.
Well, it's Nimbus Cloud.
I mean, it is Nimbus, yeah. Didn't the Monkey King have one as well?
Was that actually from Dragon Ball?
No.
Oh.
Trying to remember, there was a movie I watched where Jet Li played Monkey King. I can't remember what it was called, but I actually liked it.
Have you ever
like
tried
Forbidden Kingdom or something? Yeah. It was pretty lame, but I liked it all.
We have an invade attempt here by Hanwha Life, but not going to be able to find anything. And this is just going to mean that we're going to have pretty standard play all around. And there is Fiddlesticks. Aftershock. Demolish is a bit surprising, because it just feels like he's never going to proc it on turrets.
Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get
So I feel like
there.
Font of Life with Fiddle's
if you go
fear.
for a gank, you should be able to guarantee a turret plate if you
Yeah, I suppose. So
And you do want to be roaming.
We'll also see how he manages to use his effigies. A little stuck right there.
I
back to full.
I love so much that it's Surprise Party Fiddlesticks as well, because I feel like it does certainly, it reminds me a lot of the game that we had earlier in the day, which felt like a surprise party.
That is very unfun to play against, by the way. And yeah, Surprise Party
It was unfun when it was just Drain, and it was single target. Now it's just awful.
Well, that's very unfortunate, as Fiddlesticks does grant a little bit of map hacks, basically, for his teammates. His words are so good. This is very obnoxious trying to play against. And eventually you will be able to fight back against him. Fate procs the bone plating. And I like how reserved he's being with his mana. Does end up actually coming out ahead in the CS department by 2.
Yep, Fate not doing too badly here whatsoever. Is CAD actually getting taken down very low from this blue buff? Gonna let, not letting it reset, so Summit's not going to go too deep. CAD is going to be able to come in here, clear out the ward. He's down low as well, but he likes that. He's no life.
And now CAD actually gonna skip his Gromp. Even though he had a little bit of time, I think he thinks that Olaf recalled. Although, no. I think he... Oh, maybe he's anticipating that this was the pathing.
Oh, sneaky.
Oh, very sneaky. Very sneaky. Here we go.
Well, Smite does come in.
Fiddlesticks get here, but Onfleek's getting very healthy off this.
Walked into the brush at the right time, but still has to flash immediately or put down. Onfleek will survive for the moment and takes the whole camp. And now looks like he's going to be able to transition bottom side.
Yeah,
to life, don't want that.
And you can see that the priority granted by Gorilla and Root, they're able to run over there. So even though Lava and Cat are coming, we might have a party. And I'm not talking about Fiddlesticks, but no.
No, that wouldn't be
very unfortunate. And so it's hard for me to know without the camera having panned a little bit, maybe more to mid. Lava may be blundered here, potentially, not having his lane in the right spot in order to make this play happen. And so CAD, even though he found the flash on Olaf, still going to be a little bit behind now. Dudu is even with Summit up there in top lane.
And now Fate struggling just a little bit with that mana as Lahen's going to get flayed. Piercing Darkness does some work as that's a great hook out of Gorilla. Snare comes through from Root as well, and so Lahen's going to have to be a little bit more careful next time he decides to go in. This whole minion wave now going to be held on to by SANDBOX. And now they're looking to try and get Fate back so that he can get his mana. And wants this in a good position. Okay, Onfleek wants this to crash, and he will get his wish.
Well, at this point in the game, Hanwha Life, I think, are feeling pretty okay, though, all around. Wukong has a giant wave coming in, so we'll see what Dudu's CS is. Honestly, it gets really weird to keep saying his name.
I know, right?
Have I said this to you, or did I say it to Valdez? I'm very surprised he's allowed to have this ID.
Well, it's Dudu Dunga, so I guess you'd never really expect it to mean the other thing that Dudu could mean.
All right, well,
you know,
that's fine. It's just every time I say it, I think of fecal matter, and I don't think that's very.
Look, I mean that is that's part of the course, you know, when it comes to yeah, homonyms. Homonyms, right? Sound the same? Means something different. Yeah, there we go. Root's going to turn back up to this lane. He's got himself a pickaxe. See what that actually turns into is CAD. We're going to jump on over. First strike of the game is going to be the Mountain. Hasn't been looked at by anyone over the last minute, but it's been spawned. We'll see whether anyone is actually going to pay some attention, as Dudu is highest level in the game. Has hit level 6. I believe Summit's going to be very close to that one as well, as Lahen's going to get shot by Root. And he has Gorilla coming in. Not going to be too worried about that. Fate almost broke that chain, and now Lava gets the Terrify off, and it's just all too easy.
Yeah, and Fiddlestick's going to right back up to full HP. So, very fun to play against. Actually, this is...
The sound effects so good,
yeah, the sound effects are very awesome. This is a really cool kind of champion because it's basically purely cerebral with its gameplay, and it plays its laning phase out as a war of attrition. It's attacking your economy, essentially, of your mana pool.
Oh no, Cad put out of position. On Fleek's going to turn up.
Oh, Fiddle!
And yep, Gorilla's going to come in. Flash play comes down as there is the Crowstorm. Immediate exhaust does come down as lands diving on top of the mid laner, and Fate will be taken down. It's 1-for-1 in the end as Summit actually lost a trade with Dudu, who just teleported in actually. Now Hanwha Life looking for this red buff.
Now, Summit does have teleport available, but the damage is done. He misses an entire wave of EXP and CS, so...
Already behind in and EXP, actually.
Look at what Dudu does. He says, I crashed your wave, and now you identify the top wave as wave 1. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4 can all go into Wukong. Now, we'll see if Summit insta-shoves it. It doesn't look like he is. It looks like he's pushing it slow, so just 3-4 waves that are going to be in Dudu's favor. Visible on the minimap. So it looked like Cad could not make up his mind with what he wanted to do here. Also didn't have level 6. I assume a kill would maybe grant it to him, given that Olaf is already level 6. So the XP would probably be close. Fate ends up dying as well. So it's a 1-for-1. This is going to benefit Hanwha Life more than it's going to benefit SANDBOX. And we take a look at this trade up here. Wukong says, I don't care about your Dominus.
Yeah. Maybe not as dominant as he would have liked. Also had the item advantage, and so with the application of the Executioner's Calling, it's going to make things difficult there for Summit, who's gone back and built himself as many tanky stats as possible. This is a game where you're not going to be as upset about the Ninja Tabi. He's mainly going to be fighting against Cad and Dudu at this stage of the lane, but 9 CS ahead is the Crocodile, but it's only going to be a little while before Dudu is going to catch all the way back up. Oh, nice work there from Fate, stepping out of reap range quite nicely.
And it's just so hard to chew through.
Yeah, this just
the
feels
HP.
Pretty awful.
Yeah. And then Lava can even go over to the Raptor camp and do it, but no, he's going to go over and get the blue buff first for himself. And so everything right now for Hanwha Life is going somewhat okay. SANDBOX did get the Mountain. They do have the Mountain Drake underneath their belt, and that is going to be quite nice. As Summit...
Yeah, going aggressive once again. Dices through as... Oh, that was so close. Dawning Shadow not quite going to register there. Summit holds onto his flash, though, as you can see, and over the wall goes the Olaf as Dudu was trying to back. He was outside of the brush. And, yeah, goodbye, Mr. Cad. That's a surprise Viking, not something you want to deal with. And the waves that you said were in favor certainly were in favor of Dudu, but not if he's not there to pick him up.
Dudu is in a... Well, Dudu's...
That's that. I mean,
he's neck deep right now is what he is.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Was it from Little Nicky, that movie? The Rooms with the Devil?
I haven't thought about.
Yeah.
There's a certain pineapple scene that I remember quite vividly.
Well,
that's a great movie.
Yes, it is.
Good times. Reminds me of my childhood.
And so now this is very good for SANDBOX. Let's take a look at this. And it happens on the cannon capture by Dudu. And so it's just one of those things where he had to just resist and have control. And honestly, he was very nimble there, managing to dodge. Now, Cad did get the Gromp, and then Dudu outside of the brush did have to move back to recall.
야, 볼배공 뺄만한데?
How did they see?
I think their ward maybe just died.
Oh, okay.
내가 잡았어.
I got him.
플래시 아까운데?
Did volley flash?
The volley ulted.
The volley ulted.
Yeah, and then
Summit
on fleek flashed.
Yeah, on fleek
Summit
flashed, but then Summit flashed immediately
Yeah.
afterwards. And I think maybe on fleek was asking why Summit had to flash.
Well, Summit almost has his Black Cleaver complete. I would be surprised if we see a Trinity Force, to be completely honest, out of Renekton. We have seen it. I can't remember from where we've seen it. I think it's LEC. Someone did build Trinity Force on Renekton.
I'm not a super fan of Trinity Force among champions that don't have mana, but it does happen. quite often. Dudu looking to pick up this wave. We'll be able to grab it. Behind too much, but that lead for Summit has extended by quite a lot. Fate gonna get slowed and just bothered.
The really big problem with Fate here is he constantly has to basically keep asking Olaf to come mid, because there's no way for him to keep up with the mana of Fiddlesticks and the wave clear that Fiddlesticks offers and just the sustain, because there's no point in trying to poke him down. So, Fate, some people might be wondering, why did he go tier first? Now he's going to pick up the Lost Chapter. Well, you want to go tier as Orianna versus this Hanwha Life Team composition, because it's all about wombo combo bursting you, and the active of Seraph's Embrace and the value of the AP ratios on the E, super big for Orianna and her teammates in the later stages. So, the tier is there. Lost Chapter has come in, but definitely a bit of starving going on here. Fate is down a level, though I'm not sure how much. We'll see when he dings 10.
Yep.
And Lahens is, he's trying to hold the wave there.
Does manage to, as we see on Flick, making another visit towards the top side, but this wave not quite prepped yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, Dudu's going to face check. That is absolutely not what you want. Big shield comes in from the Dawning Shadow. Yeah, the Cyclone's not going to do it. However, Dudu is going to be forced to miss yet another wave. HLE is going to come down, and they're going to reap all of these rewards.
All right, and so CAD on the flip side, though, I mean, they're going to end up getting an Infernal Dragon. So getting Summit really far ahead is nice for SANDBOX as well as Olaf. Wukong is probably just going to transition into a Malphite, given that Wukong is a champion. It's sort of like Aurelia meets Malphite, which is, honestly, that's kind of a champion I would not like to see, but Wukong exists. Infernal Dragon was picked up. Now, unfortunately for them, Infernal isn't super big for this team comp. Wukong gets a little bit of damage, and then he starts going tanky. Volibear only gets tank. Fiddlesticks, for the most part, only gets tank. Not a lot of amp there. Doesn't auto a whole bunch. Leona only tank, and Ezreal, he's sort of all over the place with his items. It's not like he's getting as much amp as he would like. And we'll also have to see if he goes Iceborne Gauntlet rather than Trinity Force, because then there's no AD amp going on, and Ocean Soul is the one of the game. That would be so gross, Fiddlesticks with Ocean.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Triple stack Ocean on Hanwha Life's comp right now? I kind of want to see it happen just for how filthy it is.
For science.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of need this. Don't know whether you call this laboratory conditions, but we'll see. Fate, a bit of damage here onto Lava, but on Fleek, having a pretty decent time against CAD right now. There's the orb, as in goes Gorilla once again. Fantastic playback. This is some vintage Gorilla Thresh happening on the Rift today. Beautiful to see. So many Gorilla fans out there just smiling with nostalgic vision.
And CAD he's really falling off hard.
Yeah.
In this game, not doing a whole bunch. Lava finally getting chunked a little bit. And now they were looking for a three-pronged attack here onto the middle sticks. Not going to be able to find it, and it just really looks like Hanwha Life are falling apart.
This is a lot of confidence the SANDBOX are playing with, though. 3,000 gold is their lead.
Yeah.
3 minutes until that Ocean Drake, and they've broken the outer turret. That actually gives you so much extra power in controlling that river area with the amount of extra space that you have to work with. And Root and Gorilla have been absolutely fine here on the bottom side, playing once again this farming center that we've seen cropping up here and there. A lot of different options for center at the moment as we have a look at what Onfleek was doing as he took down CAD.
Well, it seems like CAD does not really know where he wants to be right now. Onfleek has been on point with some of the locations that he has ended up so far in this game, escaping a very close call with death at his Raptors at level 3.
But then ultimately that, I think, had a lot of flow-on effect as to how the rest of this game went. The Olaf, as soon as you fall behind as the Olaf, we've seen how this works. It's just awful.
Yeah. As
the Olaf into the Volibear. You just can never fight as Lava, barely. Not going to get hooked there by Gorilla. And Seraph's transformation already done here for Fate as well.
The effigy giving the, honestly, it looks like Pennywise.
I know, it's terrifying.
Kind of, it's really cool. And It is the Sheen for Ezreal. He is really stunted, it feels like.
Yeah, I think it's the Executioner's.
The Executioners,
really
yeah.
Into his item build there. Also going for the nerf.
Oh, they're looking for a cheese. Whenever you're having to look for a cheese at 15 minutes in the game, things are probably going really poorly for you. They're missing out on so many waves right now in mid. Dudu gonna have to use his clone.
Yeah, we'll be able to get out with an Nimbus Strike. As teleport back to the mid lane is absolutely not what you want to see. As Shirley is put down. Okay, Lehens behind enemy lines just a little bit here. They'll find Cad. Viper's here as well. As Lehens is going to be the first cap off the rank. He's well and truly dead. Focusing the Leona, often a bad thing. This time, absolutely fine. As Lava gets himself a Terrify. Now, extra movement speed there, and Lava's going to get slowed. Oh dear. Dawning Shadow comes down. Shockwave. It's a bouncy castle. The drain is filthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting, but doesn't actually matter in the end. 4,000 gold now the lead for SANDBOX, and this is a snowball if ever I've seen one.
Everything around Hanwha Life is just falling apart. If Fiddlesticks was where Ezreal was, this could have been a very interesting team fight, but Lava teleported into mid for no reason, really, whatsoever.
I think it was like a desperation play, you know? It's like, I don't really know what to do. I know that I need to try and get here to defend, and we can't lose this in a turret. In the end, they did end up losing the inner turret, and he lost his life anyway, so
well,
not what you want to see.
Frozen Heart is still a bit ways away for Lava. So 4,000 gold deficit. Ocean is live, and it's looking like SANDBOX are going to be the ones that can compile it.
Yeah, this Ocean should easily go over to Onfleek. He's a very happy Olaf right now, very close to his Spirit Visage. Fate, not sure what he's actually building right here. He's got the pieces of quite a few different things. He'll jump on over, but SANDBOX don't really mind. And they can lose their outer turret top lane because they're trading for the bottom lane. And they were able to grab that dragon as well.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, the Demolish.
All right.
Bam! Hello! That's the rune.
Well, Summit has decided that he's going to fight for this. Gorilla was pretty close to the area. Root didn't have his ultimate, which is why I was a little bit worried.
Yep.
Might have been able to turn some of the tides, but you can see that Hanwha are not willing to take too many of these fights, as Onfleek's just going to move on over.
Viper!
Whether he can actually steal this one. Oh my god, he stole it with an axe. That was a fadeaway too, he just threw it out and ran away. Insult.
Well, this is, yeah. I mean, that's the cherry on top, for sure. As SANDBOX are very far ahead right now in this game.
Black Cleaver and Manamune done here for Root.
Yep.
30% CDR.
Glacial as well for the Senna. Not going to be the Grass and the Undying. Not the end of the world. The Black Cleaver with only the Renekton being the other source of... I mean, Olaf does a little bit, but realistically he's dealing true. It strikes me as a little bit bizarre,
얘도 없나?
but...
정레드 먹고 있다. 털었다. 털었다.
And Onfleek just feeling pretty good about getting that steal. Now the thing about the Black Cleaver is if you run through all the champions on the side of Hanwha Life and you look at their armor values, and then you factor in how long it takes Senna to get to the 24 stacks, etc., lethality in more cases than not. Actually, maybe it's not the case. Ezreal 124. Oh, we went Iceborne. Okay. So not going to be the Trinity Force, interestingly enough.
So you're going to be stacking it up and getting a little bit more value each time rather than any sort of lethality option. I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah. Ends up being...
I found it really strange, by the way. This is probably a pretty good game for SANDBOX to head towards something like a Morellonomicon.
They need it. Yeah.
But he's gone Spellbinder outright.
They need Grievous Wounds for the Fiddlesticks. And we'll see. Maybe Renekton ends up picking it up. I mean, you can even slap it on Olaf.
Yeah, you can slap it on Senna too. She's
anyone
with it.
Really, slap it on Thresh and just
yeah, may as well.
Have him auto someone. As here we go. This is going to be the Wukong jumping onto the Ragnarokable Olaf. Probably not the best idea.
Yep, a few abilities being thrown out left, right, and center as we've got some effigies just putting themselves into the party. But it's 6,000 gold the lead. SANDBOX are absolutely crushing this game.
Yeah. Hanwha Life look very lost. This is how they've looked the entire split.
Yeah, well, true.
Their top side is clueless on what they're trying to do and accomplish. And then everything looks like, well, can Viper really pop off and save them? And really the answer is no. It's what it's...
he's got 100% of their kills, though.
Yes.
Kill participation through the roof. But it's not looking great. We actually... I mean, it goes back to his stats and the conversation that we had before this series start. And yes, his stats look great in comparison to, you know, the rest of his teammates. But unfortunately, there are so many teams with good AD carries that have good rest of the map as well that are also able to come together and facilitate the carry of their amazing AD carries. So it's really rough for Viper and the Hens. Cad and Dudu just don't seem to have meshed all that well.
And it seems really rough right now for Hanwha Life to even see anything that could maybe give them a glimmer of hope, because by the time Fiddlesticks completes the Frozen Heart and has it ready for a team fight, there's going to be a down period again, almost guaranteed. As, okay, Viper...
Avoidance there as Viper is going to get caught. Played back. There's the Crow Storm, though.
Oh!
And Gorilla is going to go golden. Summit finds the backline, and unfortunately, the Crow Storm just didn't do enough. And there goes the Volley Bear. Double kill for Summit. Lava might be the next one, as no, Summit's decided that he wants to get Viper all the way out of this fight. And it is, in fact, Fate that picks that one up. And now, looks like SANDBOX are going to head straight over to the Baron, take that one away, and possibly just walk up the mid lane and win the game.
Well, it's going to be the Baron going under their belt, and it's going to extend it here to an almost 10,000 gold advantage after all the dust settles. You can see they're going to allocate some of the members over to the right-hand side now. Probably want to prevent Ezreal from just trying to solo the Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, true.
And so they're just moving over that way to make something happen. And Viper, I mean, honestly, he's failed to kill this Raptor now twice. In the same exact location.
50% of this game is being spent by Viper.
Right here, Viper goes over, gets tagged, and Lava is so late on the Crow Storm. I don't know what he was waiting for, maybe next year, maybe 200. As very late on the follow-up, Viper could not really do anything. Root and Gorilla able to get back into a defensive position. Lava falls shortly thereafter. Summit tried to get onto Viper, but not able to as he flashed away. That's going to be a soul point threatened as well by SANDBOX.
Might be just game point, though, before that, LS. I'm feeling like this one's all but over. SANDBOX just finding everything. I feel like it ticked over to a certain time. And then it was just done, as that's not a wolf camp anymore, that's a fiddle camp.
Yeah, an effigy camp.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, okay. I think he's actually trying to bait him into there with the control ward, and then to attack an effigy and then maybe get a fight?
Maybe. Why would they ever be there, I guess is the question.
It's the LCK out. What?
Well, it's a good point. Sad, but good. Very correct, as SANDBOX will be able to take down this inhibitor turret on the bottom side. Solarflare not going to find anything, but they do find, a three-man shockwave from Lava to try and turn that one around, but Gorilla is going to fall. Root trying to get out of there, as this time Lava did a heck of a lot of work, and Viper's trying to chase them down. Root will find a few of these piercing darknesses, and yes, they do get the turret, but they lose out on the fight. Finally, Hanwha pull themselves together.
Yeah. And so Hanwha Life are still down 9,000 gold. This cannot be understated, and that was a very good team fight for them. But remember, Root is down Cleanse, he's down Flash, Gorilla down Flash Exhaust. These things are going to be present for the next fight. Did SANDBOX need to clump up like this? No, they did not. The Leona ultimate whiffs Zenith onto Thresh, and you can see the Fiddlesticks Crow Storm eventually joins the party, and this is a Venn diagram by Wukong and Fiddlesticks. Viper getting free deal? This is completely unnatural. of a team fight. And SANDBOX will probably not let this happen again. I would be very impressed if Hanwha Life find a similar positioning and manage to capitalize on it once more. Because that fight, honestly, it looked like a fluke.
Did a little bit. It certainly did. Also, now we've got a Rabbidan's Death Cap completed for Fate. Root just completed his rapid fire cannon. There certainly were some money in the coffers for SANDBOX. So maybe not an opportune fight to take. Still no Morellonomicon. Still no Grievous Wounds at all. This is so... I feel insulted.
Everything is very rough right now.
It's like this is the one game you're allowed to, you know? You still don't do it.
True.
Oh, just permanently triggered. As SANDBOX, they own the enemy jungle. Now they're just looking for the next objective. Ocean Soul available in 2 minutes. Baron available in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I'm worried about that, LS, because when the Baron and the Dragon are up at the same time, where do we go when we're the LCK? Straight to Baron.
Straight to Baron is exactly where we go.
What we do. Ocean Soul? Nah. Give me that Baron. What happened after the Baron? Lost the team fight. What's going to happen after Ocean Soul? Win the game.
Well, let's see what ends up happening in this fight. Unfortunately, it would be a very bizarre thing if Ocean Dragon is actually SANDBOX's demise here, because it forces them to all group up.
Yep.
And so Crowstorm can actually get a lot of value. But again, I mean, this Fiddlesticks is just so underfarmed and having such a hard time in this game. Does not actually have the Leandri's Torment available. Should have located that in the shop for 3,100, but he did not.
Yeah, as a Frozen Heart instead.
I even would have given him a discount if he just handed over that ring.
I mean, you do get a bit of a discount, about 160.
Yeah.
If you hand it over. So I guess you're right. Not really going to help you, though. It's not much of a down payment.
Unfortunately, he's been losing to the little shopkeeper instead.
Oh, no.
So
Is that you?
no, I'm the large one.
Oh, you're large shop. Sorry, they're the same acronym.
Yeah.
I get confused. Summit over here looking for some Krugs. Got 38 seconds on the Ocean Drake. Oh, Fate. Man, I wouldn't have blamed him for pulling the trigger there, as Cad going to get taken down to half. This Volley Bear is absolutely useless. Based on the early game that he's had, just hasn't been able to find too much more. As now Root trying to get those heals back in again. Dudu does need to be respected. Cad's off to the side. Summit playing Gatekeeper. SANDBOX just clearing out vision where they can.
Whoa,
Blair's going to tag Fate for the moment. Zenithblade gets lands in. Flash forward from Cad, who just dives on top, but he's so far forward, and Summit is buying so much time elsewhere. Hook goes in onto Dudu, but that's just the decoy. And yeah, the front line's dead. Looks like Hanwha are going to have to back away and give away Ocean Soul. I think I found Leroy again, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we went back.
Yeah, I think he rerolled as a druid.
He did.
Yeah, I think, I think he's in bear form.
Yeah, I think so too. He made a new account as well.
Oh, man.
Yikes. I'm glad that we had a carryover story from our previous series, but I also don't like that we had that carryover story from our previous series. Because that was very deep. That was a Jarvan I'm helping type moment. Unfortunately, he had a target in mind. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to get Fate out of the fight. And unfortunately, Summit was just much better at diving the backline than he was.
And that is another Baron. Ocean Soul Baron. Take a look at this one more time, because at least he's got chicken at the end of this one. Watch the Volley Bear.
Yeah, look.
What the hell is he doing?
That Orianna just stole all the honey. All of the honey.
I can't. I have no idea. I think Fate doesn't even know what was happening.
Oh my goodness. Fate does know what he's doing, okay? He's got an Oblivion Orb now. The fourth item for Morellonomicon after the game's already over.
Oh, man.
Like it a lot.
I am so... you know, he's not using the police Volley Bear skin. He could have issued himself a DUI after that play.
Yep. Can I talk about something that's like obscure, but I really, really love it? Root went back and bought a Forbidden Idol just to get to 40% CDR. Just for like That's the best stat he could buy at the time. Couldn't buy anything else. Genius. Love it. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Inhibitor going to go down on the bottom side of the map. Lava is still being a ward.
Well,
there's a depressing joke
Is
there.
it's totally fine.
No. It's not
fine.
happening. It's the effigy. I mean, he is scary. Not quite as scary as the last skin that we saw, I'm not going to lie.
I don't know why he keeps doing this, by the way. He stands in the same spot. Oh, yeah, he's learning. It's like Pennywise.
He's going to get slowed down. Hook. Oh, Gorilla didn't think he'd be slowed by that much by the looks of things. As SANDBOX unable to take down the Fiddlesticks, but he has no flash, which is a pretty useful summon spell for good old Fiddle. Not one that he's going to be able to utilize here, so not going to be terrifying the targets that he really wants to, and getting that Crow Storm in exactly the right position. And they are just keeping tabs on it. We're going for our last-ditch effort for the fight. Flank comes in from Dudu. Nimbus flies all the way over. A lot of value there as the Crow Storm does come through as well. The Bear grabs the center in the backline, but Viper's already dead. Fate's still alive, by the way, guys. Summit hasn't been touched. Lava is well and truly dead. And this is going to be the end of the game. Congratulations, Hanwha. You managed to take down Root, but unfortunately not quite enough here in this one. And SANDBOX will gather their first 2-0 of the season. And Mr. 100% stays at exactly that. This is not the 2-0 that I was expecting for tonight, by the way, LS. I had a feeling that our first one was going to be that. Unfortunately, doesn't happen for DRX. However, this was amazing on the side of SANDBOX.
And, well, SANDBOX, they walk away victorious 2-0. And the game 2 was very eerie in a way. They fell so far behind so early on after a very stable period. And the Fiddlesticks as well, he was having a really good lane, very good control, but not a whole lot happening overall for him outside of that, and then really just started to fall behind as he couldn't reliably farm camps and waves. And so, Hanwha Life, their losing streak continues.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Hanwha Life. Haven't been able to find their team composition, haven't been able to really find themselves here in the summer season. But it's uplifting to see a SANDBOX sort of back on their feet. Finally, things have come together. You can see a very happy Yamato on your screen right here. Giving Summit that big hug. And I think Summit looking so much happier is a large reason why this team looks a lot better as well. Because I feel like Summit is he's a large impact. The way he feels about a game has a large impact on the other people that are playing alongside him. And as soon as he's feeling himself, it is a very different SANDBOX. So I'm hoping that maybe this is a sign of things to come, as they have gotten most of the tough matches out of the way. They should be able to finish strong.
Yeah. And so we'll see what ends up happening in their remaining matches in LCK.
Yep.
As again, they still have some good matchups coming up for them that they should be able to overcome. Hanwha Life, on the other hand, though, there's some rough ones, right?
Yeah, I think they have to face off against Genji and maybe Damwon as well. After one
Not a big deal.
No. So they've faced Damwon already. But yeah, they still have Genji to go up against. Just faced SANDBOX.
Oh, isn't it DRX?
Yeah, DRX.
Yeah,
it's not Damwon.
Not a big deal, honestly.
DRX
not
and
a big
Genji.
Deal. All right, well.
Yeah, that's...
Should be 2 wins.
Things are going to get tough for them. However, those 2 matches have been dealt with on the side of SANDBOX.
These are the games that make me very worried for the teams and almost frustrated for them, in the sense that the things that you have to look at and try to fix are not... Everyone can do... You pull any challenger player in, and they can tell you the obvious spots where things go wrong. Finding the things that lead up to and build up to the problems and preventing them from ever being able to happen is the really difficult part. And if you don't have it, you're just always going to wander until players get changed.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Very rarely will a team really turn completely around and fix things.
Yeah, it's very easy to put a Band-Aid on something, but it's more difficult to find the root cause of why you keep scratching yourself, you know? I think that's part of the problem. Maybe stop walking through the woods.
Yeah.
That's a terrible analogy, but it is very disappointing that Hanwha haven't been able to figure themselves out. It might take some more reshuffling of some of their different options. I mean, Haru's still there, but he's had horrors of performances so far in the summer split. He's a shadow of his former self. Cuvée, world champion top laner, but hasn't really been able to perform either. So having Dudu and Cad come in and having to sort of debut at a time where, you know, there's a lot of turmoil within the team, does get really, really rough. And it feels like Viper and Lehens have to try really, really hard to make things work, and unfortunately, it's just not enough.
Well, game really fell apart before Hanwha Life could ever get to even footing. Wukong did become a Malphite ult bot, essentially, with his engages. But Fiddlesticks did not live up to the hype, and then Polybearer, I mean, if he doesn't get he's very akin to Olaf and Set. If they don't get ahead in the jungle, they feel useless.
Yeah.
And this time, he was against an Olaf and then fell behind to him after being really well positioned to get very far ahead with that initial invade, but a little bit of off timing and Olaf managed to escape it, convert into the bot scuttle crab. And all of this really snowballs in together because it meant that Volibear had 2 camps up that he didn't yet consume, whereas Olaf did get both of them, so his camps respawn at a higher level. It all really chains in together for jungle EXP and other stuff that goes on. This was the small glimmer of hope. Fiddlesticks' base damages are pretty nice. He gets in there, and it was actually Viper that killed Thresh. So the Crowstorm not quite able to get close enough.
Yeah, but this was sort of, as far as numbers are concerned, a lost fight for SANDBOX.
Yeah.
It just took way more.
They were down so
in order to get them back up. And they had a lot of money in their back pockets as well. There were Rabbidan's death caps that needed to be purchased. There were rapid fire cannons that needed to be purchased. This was a fight that honestly SANDBOX shouldn't have been taking at that moment in time. However, the losses weren't great enough, and they get towards the Ocean Soul. Let's have a look at the beauty that is Ocean Soul.
야, 이즈 내가 잡을게, 이즈 내가 잡을게, 이즈 딜
He
못해.
did get taken down. That is true. This crocodile takes no damage.
나이스 끝났다.
나이스. 진짜 잘했다. 나 잘했다.
끝내줘 끝내줘.
바텀 들어가자. 바텀. 얘나 문대고 들어갈게.
얘밖에 없어.
야, 너무 멋있다. 난 일로 왔는데.
There's no one
내가
left
잡았어,
except for her.
얘들아.
나 그냥 터져주거든.
다들 고생 많았다. 고생했어.
공한테 뚝배기 그냥 깨졌어.
Good job, guys.
레오나 무시하고 칠게.
그냥 깨줘.
야, 끌어서 죽여줄래?
야, 얘 죽이면 안 되냐? 죽이면 안 되냐?
혼내줘. 내가 죽였어, 얘들아. 혼내줘. 내가 못 죽였어.
나 지금 마우스 빼도 되냐?
고생했어.
뺐다.
Well, that was gonna be it.
Yep. Not a massive amount of celebration, as you can see. Oh my god, Lava's damage is extraordinary on that Orianna. They don't have a very high damage composition, right?
Right.
It's sort of expected that Orianna would be doing a lot of it.
She's the isolated
yeah.
magic damage dealer. Now, really, it puts into focus the 1v9. Actually, it means 1 Viper versus 9 is what's going on. Yeah, so it's basically what Hanwha Life has become, and with Lehens looking so off in the last couple of series, it adds that much more weight and pressure.
Yeah. And I mean, Lehens was also nerfed, right? Like, the Yuumi nerf directly affects Lehens, because against Hanwha Life, every team was still just straight up banning the Yuumi, but it's going to be OnFleek that picks up player of the game. He survived that first jungle gank and then never let Cad back in the game. I actually think this was pretty close to an Olaf masterclass. We know OnFleek as an Olaf player, but definitely very impressive for him in this particular game. That's 200 points so far.
Yeah. And OnFleek was in the right place at the right time. He was able to always be slightly ahead in EXP as well. Cad coming right in here, getting caught. This is also where he couldn't quite make up his mind. Oh no, this wasn't that. As tries to get away. Not able to in the end. Picks up yet another axe. Undertow does manage to clip Lava. And then the Orianna ultimate comes back in. As Fiddlesticks, the heal is very gross.
It is.
But apparently it just cuts right back to us.
Yeah, I mean, the heal's really gross, but the damage was non-existent, so it didn't really matter. He was just frustrating for that little moment. Yeah, Lava just wasn't able to get any of the advantages that he really wanted. It was a cute idea, and we've seen it work in the LPL and other regions, but it just did not work here. As once again, a SANDBOX victory. So it's time to head over to the interview where we have Ji-sun standing by with some translation. Take it away.
먼저 루트부터 한 말씀.
How do you feel, guys? First route,
이제 연패를 하다가
we were on a
이번에
losing
이제
streak,
연승으로 들어왔잖아요.
but now we are turning it into a winning streak. So it's so awesome, and I hope we keep winning.
연승의 맛 좋을 것 같습니다. 자, 홈플렉트 한
And
말씀
on
해주세요.
flick,
저희가 저번에 이기고 이제 반등을
Well,
시작해보겠다고
with the
말씀드렸는데
recent win, we wanted to bounce back. I'm really happy that we're making it happen.
또 야마토 캐논 감독이 그 본인이 그 명언 제조기로 얘기하셨잖아요.
I heard that
특별히
Yamato
경기 전에
is always ready with quotes and speech. Did he tell you any special quote today? Or anything that you remember the most?
딱히 없어요.
Nothing special.
아직 공개된 게 다예요 아직까지는.
그 전에 했던 게
Well,
많긴 한데
he did
일단 어제
like say a lot of quotes, but
말씀
nothing
이제 실행이 되는 게
special
중요하니까요.
yesterday.
자 오늘 특히 연승 의미를 가지고
Yeah,
있었고
SANDBOX, you guys are starting to get the winning streak.
위해서 오늘 루트
So,
어떻게
Root,
특별히 준비한
what was the thought
있었을까요?
process onto taking to a Viper and Leon's duo? Nothing really special.
팀원들과 이제 다 같이
I just wanted to
게임이니까 5명이서
perform well
할 것만 해주고
all
하면은
together as a
이길
team.
것 같다. 그래서 그렇게
We believe that
이런 식으로
if we
됐어요.
play
그래서
as a
이번
team,
시즌에 뭐
unified,
자주 나왔던 장면은
we were
아니고
really
그래도
sure that we
루트
were
선수도
be getting the
엄청난
win.
캐리력이 뿜어져 나왔어요.
Root, you are the hyper carry of your team, especially on the affiliates, a champion that has gone through a multiple nerfs. Were you confident that you were gonna be the solo carry of your team?
이제 확실히 이제 후반으로 가면은
Well,
이제보다 확실히
if it
좋고,
goes to
우리가
late
이제
game,
카르마도
it's
있고
definitely
르블랑도
better
있어서
than Ezreal, and we had
시간만 오래
LeBlanc
가면은
and Karma, so we
저랑
knew that
페이트
we were gonna
선수가
have
이제
the edge in the
캐리할 수
late
있을 것
game
같다.
with
그런
me and
식으로
Fate.
게임했어요.
그리고 이제 온플렉 선수에게 궁금한 게
Moving on
있는데
to Onflick,
볼리베어와 올라프 정글들 구도가 요즘
Volibear
자주
and
나오잖아요.
Olaf
이 정글
jungle
구도에
matchup
대해서
is a
좀
thing
어떻게
right now.
생각하시는지,
So what's your
올라프를
thought on
상대
that matchup?
이제 볼리베어를 상대로 하면서 좀 자신감이
Playing
있었는지
into
궁금하네요.
Volibear, were you confident?
일단 1대1만 놓고 보면은 볼리베어가
Thinking of the 1v1
이긴다고
situation, I
생각하는데
believe
아무래도
Volibear
볼리베어는
wins.
도주기가
But Volibear,
정도 말고 없다 보니까
the only
팀원 합류
escape
이용하면서
tool is
싸우는
its
쪽이
ultimate. So if
이길
you,
것 같아요.
so I think the one who can utilize their teammates will actually win.
상당히 좋습니다. 앞서서 뭐 마우스 뺀다는 선수도 있고, 예.
And I guess the
확실히
players
진짜
are also
그
really excited
팀이
with the
이겨보니까
recent
이렇게 마지막에
success.
오프 더 레코드가 공개되는 것 자체가 분위기 좋은 거거든요. 어떻습니까? 예.
Especially in the mic
그대로
check
진짜
in
그
the end. How are the
숙소에서도,
players
여기에서도,
feeling?
이 경기장에서도 분위기 좋습니까? 어때요, 온플레이?
How's the atmosphere of
아무래도
SANDBOX
이기는
gaming currently?
팀의 분위기가 좋을 수밖에 없는 것 같아요.
Definitely,
네.
the winning team
뭐
gets to have a better atmosphere.
예. 그때 기사가 누구였습니까? 뭐 루트였어요, 누구였어요?
So you said you got carried. So who was the one that carried the game?
버스 기사 누가?
Because
어느
some
분이
said he got
하시는 겁니까?
carried so hard.
사실 혼자 승객이었던 것
I
같아요.
think he was the only one that got carried. We were driving him.
네. 기사님이 열심히 운전을. 썸이 좀 느끼는 부분이
I guess
있어요.
Summit
그럼 2세트
had
때는
4
나름
drivers in
노하우도
game
발휘하긴
number
했었죠.
1.
예. 그리고 지금 감독님 밈이 상당히 많습니다.
And
뭐 그냥
Yamato already
무슨
has
맛도
so
많은데
many
혹시
memes,
감독님이
so many
예,
mottos
감독님
here.
패션.
And also
감독님
his
그
fashion
뭐죠?
style.
커튼 같은.
예, 그렇죠. 예,
예.
이거 뭐
With his
와이셔츠라고 해야
floral
되나? 하여튼 뭐 이거
shirts,
난방이라고 해야 되나? 예,
커튼.
예, 하여튼 그
like a
옷이,
curtain.
예. 어떻게 생각합니까? 그
How do you like
감독님
it?
그
Yamato's
뭐랄까요?
styling.
이 패션 스타일에 대해서.
좀 열대지방
I think it's like
여행 가신 것
tropical
같은 패션이었어요.
tourist.
네. 본인 이렇게 경기 전에 이렇게 헤어스타일이라든가 옷 이런 거 많이 신경 씁니까?
Does he pay attention to his appearance a lot? His hairstyle and like his
잘못 본 것 같은데
outfits?
신경은 항상
I
쓰시는 것 같아요.
Never saw him like paying too much attention about his appearance, but I guess he
자,
always
이제
does.
연승으로 달려갈
For a
준비를
certain amount.
3연승까지 가야 될 텐데 다음 경기가
SANDBOX, you guys definitely want to get the
연승을
third
거둔
wins in a row, and you have to
어떻게?
take down
그 경기까지
Katie
자신 있습니까?
Roaster,
3연승
who
달려갈
just
수 있겠습니까?
won
홈플레이부터
DRX
한마디
earlier
부탁드릴게요.
today.
솔직히 오늘 KT 좀 보면서
Well, to be honest, watching Katie Roaster playing with SMAP support, I was really curious to find it out. And he did play decently.
고릴라 범현이 형이 있기 때문에
But still, we have Gorilla, you
혼내주지
know?
않을까 싶습니다.
I think he's gonna punish SMAP.
그렇죠. 네.
마치 다음 경기에도 이미
I
스매가
guess
나오는 게
Onflick is already thinking that SMAP will be playing another support role.
투신이 좀 건강하게 다음 경기 나오는 것도
And I hope
기대하겠습니다. 자,
also
그리고
Tusin to feel better soon.
루트도 각오 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
And Roots,
어떻습니까?
would you like to add on to that?
이번에 DRX 상대로
Well,
상대적으로 밀릴 줄 알았는데
we actually
되게
expected
잘해가지고
them to be a little bit behind DRX, but they played really well.
준비 더 잘해서
So I guess we have to prepare really hard, and I think we can get a win.
좋습니다. 자, 오늘 경기 뭐 연승 달려갔으니까
Once again,
3연승까지 쭉쭉 뻗어나기
congratulations
바랍니다.
on the
다시
winning
한번
streak,
승리
and this will be
축하드리고요.
the end of the
기대하겠습니다.
interview with
고맙습니다.
Rich on Click from
감사합니다.
SANDBOX Gaming, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun. As per usual, great to hear from SANDBOX yet again in back-to-back series. They faced off against who are right now the top 5 teams in the league, and it seems to be smooth sailing as they take on the next few before they have to go into round 2, where Yamato gets the full test. As we will have a look at those standings. SANDBOX move up to 8th place. I believe they were already there. Solely One Prince a little bit further behind when it comes to the game score. But now, SANDBOX get to play for the real fun stuff, which is equalizing with KT if they manage to beat them in their next match, which is that's all of a sudden gotten very spicy because DRX, I don't think anyone expected KT to be able to take them down, and now it's gotten a little bit more difficult for SANDBOX to try and break that 7th place.
And it looks like Hanwha Life is going to go 0-9. That is what it seems to be set up
like
for.
that.
And the other thing that is unfortunate about it is that I actually feel like this is the worst iteration of an LCK team that we've had in several years. Even Jin Air dragged teams out.
There were some Kongu rosters that were pretty average.
Oh, this is looking rough.
It is definitely not working
Well,
out.
T1 versus Solewon Prince and Damwon versus Afrika tomorrow. That's the bit. You're not here.
Could you imagine if Afrika upset Damwon tomorrow? Could you imagine?
Are you kidding? What do you mean?
Then all
Solewon
of the
Prince
hype.
is going to 2-0 T1.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, but after that.
Oh, Afrika's going to 2-0 Damwon.
Is it Afrika 2-0 Damwon? Bring the hype back for the DRX versus Damwon series?
Perfect.
Oh, the script has gotten spicy.
It has. We're in the Twilight Zone this week.
Yeah, I mean, week 4, you get there and all of a sudden things go crazy. But I'm along for the ride and I'm excited about it. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCK.
Change and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my hero. Not before everything you've done. You'll always be my hero. Faith in you like the rising sun. I feel so strong, I feel the freedom to be who I can be. You'll always be my hero. Give me everything I need. Everything I need. You have faith in me. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my hero.